Hi folks, welcome back to RDR. So what have I been up to lately? Well, if you are familiar with my videos, you may have noticed I mentioned a few times in some previous videos regarding the purchase and pickup of a ThinkPad X23 laptop. Now these laptops are circa 2003, 2004 I believe, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get it basically due to the distance. It was in Denver, I'm in Fort Collins, and that was kind of affecting my decision on the purchase. So, what happened was I had a wedding to attend in Denver the past weekend. And what did I do? You know it. I grabbed it, of course. So, let's take a closer look at the ThinkPad X23. All right, here we have the ThinkPad X23 running Windows XP Professional Service Pack 3. So when I got this, it was running Windows XP Pro Service Pack 2. I did do a reformat using that, and then I upgraded to Service Pack 3 by downloading it via the Microsoft website, actually. This does have Wi-Fi. What I did use was my Linksys PCM CIA card, wireless card, that has a 2.5 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz frequency, and it picked up my internet just fine. Now, if you're wondering, XP is still just on the cusp of nostalgic, in my opinion, but it had hit a point for me where I wanted to revisit it in a big way. And so this was my opportunity to do that. And if you're curious of how the internet runs today on Windows XP, it has drastically gotten worse in the past few years than it was just 1 or 2 years ago. 1 or 2 years ago, XP still had pretty decent functionality, but with a fresh install like this, I could not get any new browsers, or I had to look for the latest one that would run. So I believe it's Firefox version 58, and I have an old version of Oracle on here, 9.64. And they work, but man, let me tell you, you get a lot of error screens on websites that are totally functional on any other present browser, but no longer, there's just nothing there. It just doesn't connect. I find it a lot. Now, I can still, for the most part, get around on this thing on the web. And, I mean, you could pull off the internet in some capacity if this was your only computer, but it would be really inconvenient and difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. So first, let's get a closer look at the screen here. Let's take a look at the specs. What I have put on here is an older version of Peripherals Speccy, and we're going to have a look at exactly what this laptop has underneath the hood. So, this may or may not be a little hard to read. Let me go ahead and try to get it in there a little bit more. There we go. So as you can see, we have Windows XP Pro 32-bit Service Pack 3. We have an Intel Pentium 3M processor. This is another problem with this laptop. This processor does not support, what is it called, EE2S or something like that, which is a big reason why a lot of newer browsers will not run on this machine. It's not that it won't run on XP per se, but it will not run on this machine. It needs that sort of support, a certain type of support, to make that happen. SSE2, I believe it's called. I'll put the right name of that in the description here. What else do we have here? We have 1 gig of RAM. We have an IBM 2662 EEU motherboard, running at about, on average, I'm finding 50 degrees, depending on what I'm doing. This thing has not gotten too hot, but again, I have not had much of an opportunity to put games on it. I did try to install NHL 99. Big no-go there, so my next video might be installing that on the compact Rosario. Standard monitor, 800 by 600 of course. We have a 74 gigabyte Seagate hard drive. It's actually an 80 gig, but that's what's available. That is newer, so that was not original. I was really fortunate to hear he said he put that in quite recently. The gentleman I picked this up from was a really nice guy, and had we not lived in the same town, we would definitely be good friends. This guy had the coolest 4-screen monitor setup in his office, and it was just, you could just tell he had a lot of attention to detail put into his setup. And I mean, he had a dedicated desktop for VMware. It was a really cool office, and he was really generous in giving me this at the price he gave it to me at. So thank you so much. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have a Matsushita UJJDA720 DVD CD-RW. Now that is not part of this laptop. This is part of the office component here, which is the docking station, excuse me. That's the word I'm looking for. So this does have a docking station hooked up to it that has floppy and CD DVD RW, which is awesome. It does state that I have a clone drive. I do have a clone drive on here for, you know, reasons of ISO files and things like that. It's come in pretty handy trying to get older software on here that will not read otherwise, or that I can't download otherwise. So it's been a nice thing to have. And it works, thank God. Another thing we have here, we have an Intel 82801CA/CAM AC97 audio controller. Doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but it's there, and it works. So that's basically the rundown. If you haven't used Specky, you can get a lot of information on your computer. This is a free program by Peripherals, of course. If you haven't used it before, man, is it great. So it kind of gives you a basic rundown of everything. Not a whole lot else to go over here. Regarding the, you know, the laptop itself, let's see. Yeah. I don't know what the actual, you know, it talks about the monitor. I don't see any graphics card. I'm sure it's just some integrated graphics. So we'll see what gaming is like on this. But I gotta say, this thing is just been a lot of fun to use. The startup is incredibly fast, and it's just been great. So yeah, Peripherals. I do have an IBM key. You gotta look at this. Let me see if I can get this in the camera shot here. I have, this mouse came with it, and man, was I pumped because I didn't have to go find an IBM ThinkPad mouse. I'm not sure if this is the original mouse or whatnot, but the fact that he gave me an IBM mouse just spoke volumes about how he took care of his stuff and how he liked to have complete sets too. He had a lot of other accessories which I didn't take, like the car charger, and a couple of other, like, just different serial style accessories that I just wasn't interested in because I would never use them. But he did give me this. I'm still trying to figure out how to get this loaded up. So this little weird scrolling button, it's kind of like a track point button, like they do on the little red button on the keyboard, but it doesn't work yet. I'm gonna see if I need drivers or something to get that to run correctly. We'll see. But it was a great thing to get for him to give me, and couldn't be more thankful that that was included with this. So, oh, too many mice on my desk, so I grabbed the wrong one a lot. Let's see here. See what else we can get. Let's see here. You are connected through the internet, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, the Linksys dual band wireless and notebook adapter is hooked up here. Let me go ahead and try to get a shot of the, pardon me here, might be a little shake in the camera. I'm gonna tip this down so you can get a kind of an idea of what the docking station entails. So we do have a floppy. I have not used the 3.5 floppy yet. I have used the CD drive, of course, to load up XP again, a fresh install. Really easy to do. I gotta say, installing XP versus trying to reinstall Windows Me on the Compact was night and day different. It was so simple. And that was one of the cool things about XP, was the simplicity. And this laptop is older than the first laptop I ever had. And let me tell you, reinstalling XP on that laptop took forever. This one, man, was there a difference. Having 1 gig of RAM is incredible compared to having half of that, which is what my previous laptop had. I believe it was, 512 meg. It was a Toshiba Satellite from 2006, and it was definitely a budget model. It was a piece of junk. It got the job done, but it was nothing special. And it had Windows XP Media Center Edition, which I have nothing really good to say about. I remember using the Media Center features very little before discovering VLC Media Player and just using that for the rest of my life so far. So my first real experience with XP Pro kind of started today in terms of my own ownership. So really exciting there. Some other things on the computer itself has one USB port, and it is, I believe, 1.0. There is also a USB 1.0 port on the back. And we also have, there's VGA out, and we also have, of course, Ethernet serial, and a different other what looks to be some sort of serial component as well. So, components which I'll probably never use unless I get a joystick or something that requires it, but having the USB ports is what it's all about. I can get USB 2.0 flash drives to work on this. So it's been great. Very similar experience to the setup of the Compaq. So really excited to have this. And a quick funny story. So I cleaned this up the first day I got it, of course. We came home from the wedding, and it was late, but I had to get this thing going. So I stayed up very late installing XP again and just messing with it to make sure everything worked accordingly. And when I cleaned it up, I didn't realize that this little trackball you see here is the older style trackball. There's 2 versions that I'm aware of. And this thing's very rough on the top. And when I cleaned this, I used a microfiber cloth. What I didn't realize is when I was cleaning the keyboard, that cloth grabbed that thing like a magnet and took it off. And once I was done cleaning, I went, oh, this thing is missing the trackball. Crap, I'm going to have to buy one. Took a risk and bought a little pack of them off of eBay for very cheap, and they were very, worth the price whether they were going to work or not. Thank God I found, when I was cleaning my house the next day, this thing, the trackball fell out of the microfiber cloth I was using and hit the floor, and I went, what the heck is that? And I looked at it and went, no way, thank God. So I found it, and that same day the other track points came, and of course they were not the right size. I could definitely make it work, but it wasn't the nice, perfect fit that this one is, and I'm so glad that I found it and didn't throw it away or, lose it forever. But, yeah, interesting little tidbit there. So, let's install some software. Alright, so what we're going to take a look at today is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2004, A Century of Flight. Now, you may have heard I purchased this back in the day, or not back in the day, quite recently at a thrift store not too long back. Back in the day, geez. Alright, and I did attempt to install this on Windows 10 for fun on my MSI Raider laptop. That was a big failure. So, this is a prime opportunity, one, to see if this game will work on XP. It better. It's the exact same year Windows XP was in progress, and it says it's compatible, so I see no reason there. This game actually came out in 2003. And this is also going to kind of give me an idea of what capabilities this computer is going to have as far as gaming. So if this runs this without issue, it'll be kind of a good sign, because then I can kind of gauge whether or not I want to put some of my sports games like Madden and NBA from EA from this the mid-2000s on here as well. If you're not familiar, I have a copy of Madden 2000, what is it, 3? Yeah, and it has failed to load on any computer, and I'm still wondering if that is the disc. It very well may be the disc, but I just don't see any problem with the disc, so we'll see. Now again, I did try to install NHL 99. Did not read on XP. That was really unfortunate. Once I did some research on that game, I tried every patch conversion that was out for it, and I just had no luck. Compatibility mode and things. So that will be something I'll try to install on the Compact. That is a game I really want to play on PC because I really enjoyed the Nintendo 64 version. Played a lot of that as a kid. And it's one of the few games my father would actually play with us as a kid. So, really fun. Okay, just making sure everything looks good. I'm going to call it Flight Simulator 2004. That's what I remember it is. I don't remember calling this Flight Simulator 9 ever. Make sure we're on complete. We are. And here we go. Now this, I'm not sure how much of an install this is, but this does have 4 discs. If you haven't seen it before, got the one in the drive right now. That's a lot of discs. Why is there so many? I have no idea. But I'm definitely going to just do what it takes here to get this to run. Now I'm just taking a quick peek at these to see if any of them are different types of media, and these honestly all just look to be game discs. So yikes, this could be a crazy install. I just tried this recently and I cannot remember if I needed all of these. I don't think I did, but it's a little scary that I can't remember that, to be honest. The one thing I did like is, let me see if I can get this on. If you open this up, the back side is pretty cool. It's one gigantic picture. And I kind of like that they did that. Alright, so we got Flight Simulator 2004 installed here. It is running in software mode, which I expected some sort of, message saying this doesn't have a 3D graphics card, which it definitely does not. So we'll just see how this runs with the current setup. So let's go ahead here. Before we even mess with settings, by the way, I do have the joystick hooked up. It's basically plug and play, so we'll see if it reads it or not. And I gotta change the plane to something gigantic. Tacoma. Let's see what else we got for options as far as locations here. There are a lot in this game. Oh boy. Sure, let's do Detroit. What the heck? Perfect. Let's change this to I mean, it read the date on the computer. I love that. Let's just do that and see what happens. 10:04 p.m. Oh, we don't want to go at night. There we go. Let's go in the morning. And let's just see what happens here. There's a chance that searching for updated drivers may increase the performance of this game, but we'll see. Okay. We're going to change this here. I've gotten a little bit more familiar with spot plane. If we go right, geez, this is touchy. There we go. Great. Let's give this a try here. There we go. Try to go full screen. If I hit this, no. I guess that is full screen. Let's give it a try. Alright, it is picking up the joystick throttle. Pretty bad frame rate if you ask me. Oh, I'm losing. Oh, the tail. Wow, okay. Hopefully I don't crash into something here. We are off the ground at least. Well, it is running, but boy, is that frame rate ever bad. I mean, it's really bad. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but if you can't tell, I mean, it's choppy. Is it playable? Yeah, but I would say barely. Yeah, it's really laggy. I wouldn't enjoy it like this. So let's just see here if we can change any settings to try to make this better. Okay, off, extended terrain, no. We'll just try to turn these off. I mean, it is on low. So let's go to minimal. Just to see. Just to see if that fixes anything. I think we're doing the exact same flight here. Okay. See if it remembers my... No, I really wish it would. So I wouldn't have to change this every single time. Oh, yeah, it's a lot faster. I'm just trying to stay on the runway right now. Definitely an improvement. I think what I'll try to do is ensure all the drivers are updated on this computer. That way, I'll at least get the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I can up the graphics a little bit, but you know, I doubt it. I mean, this thing isn't rocking an extreme kind of power. And I guess I would say it is for its time. 2004, this was a bit of an ultra book at the time. To have a gig of RAM wasn't something I was aware of in 2004, so definitely more playable. Definitely more playable. I mean, still some lag. I'll do some experimenting with it, and we'll see what happens here. Regardless, I am really excited to have this computer and get some XP games. The next game I'm going to be installing on here is Vice City, so stay tuned for that. That was a game I did attempt to install on the compact, which, if you saw that video, it ended up being a failure, but it was worth a shot. So I have much better odds with this, considering it's running XP and I know it will run. As with the game, this is the operating system I played it on as a kid, so I am excited to experience that. I am excited to see that this runs on this too, so it's good to see. It's good to see. It's good to have. I'm glad I finally got the ThinkPad. I've really always wanted, so stay tuned for more videos with the ThinkPad, and thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Lots of videos like this and you know, a whole bunch of other things, so if you kind of like the content you're seeing, please subscribe. And if not, either way, thank you so much for watching as always, and have a fantastic day, folks.